Kentucky, home pup plus 4.5. This one, I think, almost touched 7, maybe a juice 7, and then came down after news broke that Will Levis was practicing. Boot was off for Kentucky, so I would expect him to play. Last week, obviously, a disastrous result with their backup quarterback against South Carolina at home. So you have Kentucky coming off back-to-back losses, including a bad loss at home against South Carolina. Meanwhile, Mississippi State coming off that win against Arkansas. Guess who they have on deck? Alabama. So, a trip to Lexington obviously screams potential flat spot. For whatever it's worth, since 2014, these teams play every year. The home team is a perfect 8-0 against the spread in this series, covering by 15 points per game. So, when I look at Mississippi State, I love Will Rogers. I love this team. I love Leach, but I think that there's some value in Kentucky with the spread, assuming that Levis plays. Because if you look back at that Texas A&M, the Texas A&M and the Arkansas results, they won the turnover battle 6-1, and Arkansas turned the ball over like 3 times inside the 20 on downs. Yeah. And even with a backup quarterback, Arkansas moved the ball all day, and how they did it was a lot on the ground, and that's been a weakness of Mississippi State this year. It's a run D. So the question is this the chance for Kentucky's rush offense, which has been bad? Their offensive line has been bad, but you got Rodriguez back. He's had a few games under his belt. Is this, the opportunity for Kentucky to get their run game going? And that's basically how everything flows from there against a Mississippi State defense that ranks outside the top 80 in EPA per rush. And Kentucky's run defense has been worse than its pass defense in some sense this year. That's not a big deal against the air raid. So, as much as I like Mississippi State, Kentucky at plus 4.5 here, I think that there's some value on the home Cats. Do you agree?
100%. I absolutely. They're not my underdog pick of the week, but I think that they can win this game, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be on our show on BBOC on Saturday. I mean, the weakness of this Mississippi State defense is they have no pass rush. They are playing top 35 in coverage, but they're getting dominated up front and on the ground. And you mentioned it with Malik Hornsby for Arkansas. Arkansas should have had no business being in that game whatsoever, and they had a chance to cover. That was actually a really pathetic performance by Arkansas, and Mississippi State couldn't do anything to stop them. You kind of pivot back to the last time Mississippi State went on the road. Not good against LSU. They had less than 300 total yards on offense. LSU scored a touchdown on nearly every single opportunity when they got drives past the 40-yard line. It was Mississippi State's worst offensive day from a success rate standpoint. You look at Kentucky, they're a top 15 team in defensive success rate. They don't allow teams to get a lot of first downs, and that is great fundamentals. They're top 20 in tackling and finishing drives. But the question is can they get Mississippi State into long down and distances? And Kentucky is 6th in defensive standard down success rate, but they're 128th in explosiveness. So what does that mean? They're really good at stopping teams and getting them behind schedule, but they have like moments of, allowing a chunk play to break off and maybe possibly be a score. Well, the good news is Mississippi State doesn't do that on offense. They're non-explosive offense whatsoever. So I believe Kentucky's defense is they at least have a statistical edge. It shows that they should force a lot of 3-and-outs against the Bulldogs. So I don't know. I've done, that ship has sailed. That ship has left the port when it comes to me hoping that Will Levis is going to run the ball. Although with his return, they're like, the finger's better. And oh, by the way, the foot injury is better. And I thought I didn't even know there was a big time foot injury. I don't know if that's what's been limiting him from running, but Chris Rodriguez is back. The running game is at least better than what we saw a few weeks ago. So Kentucky's going to have some success here. Mississippi State is dreadful on the road, and they got tore up on the ground last week. So yeah, Kentucky can win this game.